Welcome to The Brain Dump, where we study the psychology of success. Join us as we probe the habits, rituals, and routines of top-performing artists, entrepreneurs, authors, athletes, and more to uncover the timeless principles we can all use to take our lives to the next level. Are you ready to plunge the grunge that's been gunking up your mind's eye? Great, then let's get to it.
Guys, welcome back to The Brain Dump. Me and Anthony were sitting here, and we can't come up with anything to talk about. So we're just going to turn it on, and about midway through, I'm gonna title this bad boy, and we're going to put it in the can, and we're just going to sit here and have a conversation. I wanted to interview Anthony. He said that was a cop-out. He 100% caught me on that because I wanted to.
He wanted to ask me questions to make me do all the heavy lifting.
See, guys, you know what? That's what we're going to talk about. What is an actual business partnership? There it is. You just sparked mine. How do you get into a business relationship? You have one with Dan. You have one with your manufacturing. I've got one with my business people. Some have gone bad. Some have gone good. I've lost money. We're still in the middle. Starting phases of these ones. What is it that you personally look for when it comes to partnerships?
When I first started, I'll say this, is that every successful business I've been a part of was off the back of a successful partnership. And every business that's ever failed on me is off the back of a failed partnership. Like, it's not the product, it's not the market, it's always the founders, it's always the partners. And so in the early days, I haven't had like a big business failure in a long time, but in the early days, there was a string of them, and each one stemmed from a partnership where, and I've talked about this in the past, there's two things that were missing. One was the skills and weaknesses weren't in alignment. Two, there was not clear expectations set. And as I've gotten older, another aspect that I've come to value, which I didn't realize when I was younger, is you have to have alignment. You have to have alignment in where you want to go. But more importantly, and this is the thing that I see people mess up more often than not, is you have to want to go to the same place at the same speed. And if that isn't in alignment, if you don't both want to get there fast or slow or at whatever pace, if you're not in simpatico, you're going to struggle. If there's one partner who wants to get there really, really fast and they're just burning at the nines, I don't know what that means. But let's say they're really, really hungry. They want to get there now. And the other guy's like, I'm cool on a 10-year horizon. There's going to be friction. One is going to always be pushing. The other's always going to be pulling, and that relationship is going to fall apart. And so find a partner whose skills complement yours so that you don't both have the same strengths and the same weaknesses. That's huge. First. Second, make sure that you set clear expectations. Who's doing what? And not only who's doing what, but what is the consequence of not doing what you said you were going to do? Are you kicked out of the company? Do I get to keep the company? Like, what does that look like? If you can't be clear on setting the rules of the divorce before you get married, you're going to really regret that later on down the road. When you find yourself in a partnership with somebody, you love the business, you're doing all the work, you're doing 60 hours a week, the other guy's phoning it in, doing 10, and there's no clear way of getting out of that business without paying them out. And there's just deep resentment and deep issues. And you're like, I'd rather burn this business to the ground than give you a dime. That's not a good thing. So make sure that skills, weaknesses, complementary. Make sure that expectations are clear. Make sure that you both want to go to the same place and that you both want to get there at the same time. So
that last thing that you described, I lived it.
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that. But I'm gonna go a different route because not the only reason that the business failed, but a big reason was I didn't truly know who I was within the partnership. So I was in the midst of still working on myself too. And I lied to myself about a role that I thought I wanted. And it was uncomfortable from day one because I was put in a position to do things that weren't in my strength. And that's on a little bit on them, but mainly on me. And I took ownership of that and had to pull the ripcord because I felt so uncomfortable in that moment. And so one of the most powerful things I've ever done in my life, look, I don't know who knows this about me, but there's only one thing I want in this world. I want a fucking hotel in international waters. That's what the fuck I want. I want a fucking hotel in Costa Rica or the Greek Isles. I sat in Costa Rica with a young man who was in my mastermind who was buying a hotel in Costa Rica and asked me if I wanted to join in. I sat there in disbelief because it's all I've ever dreamed of. I looked at him dead in the face and I told him no. And he goes, why? I go, because we're the same fucking person. If we did this, we'd stare around each other for the next 3 months that nothing got done. We're both visionaries. It's not going to go anywhere. And so I have best friends that are the same as me as well, too. And we would never be in business together because I'm looking for somebody, the book Rocket Fuel, the book Rocket Fuel. I'm a visionary. I'm a connector of people. I need the integrator. I need the spreadsheet, the tax code, the details. So I surround myself with those people and move forward. And to me, on my new partnership with the construction guys, is they had their expertise in the construction space and the manufacturing. Guess what they were missing? Well, we don't have a sales and marketing guy. Guess that's exactly what I do. And guess what they don't do? Sales and marketing. Let's go to work. And just like you said earlier, we're both of the same thought process we're going to put in 5 to 6 good years, and then we're going to look to sell the business. So everybody's on the same wavelength.
Yeah. When you're working with a partner, you're trying to find that person, you have to, one of you generally has to be the visionary. One of you generally has to be the executor or the integrator, as it's called by, I think, in Traction, the EOS system. What's a really good rule of thumb, something that I found has almost always been consistently true for me, at least, is I need a partner that I feel energized to talk to. Like when I see them call, I don't think, I don't feel like audit your physiology next time somebody gives you a call and like recognize, are you excited? Did you droop a little bit? Like you need a partner to get through the tough grind. You have to have a partner where you get that call and you're like, yes, I'm psyched. I'm going to leave this conversation more jazzed. But if you're not looking forward to it, if you're already in a partnership and you're unsure if it's meant to be, and you find yourself going, when they call, I can tell you right now, it's not meant to be. It's not going to work out unless you get that solved. The other thing that you really want to look for is you don't have to be the same person. You don't have to have the same way of seeing the world, but you do have to have the same values, and you do have to have the same vision for what the company can be. Not necessarily in like minute detail, but if you're not in alignment with the values, then day to day, you're going to struggle, because it's better to not have the same vision for where you're going, but have the same values, because at least the vision, you can come to some resolution at some point with that. But if you're not in alignment with the values, you'll never get on the same page. You will always resent each other because they'll value things that you don't, and vice versa. And so you have to speak each other's love language, so to speak.
That's a very good point. And what's interesting about all of my business partners, right? Because I do travel a bunch. So if they were jealous people, or if they didn't know where my heart was, what do you think they would say a lot of the times? Well, Austin's just out there fucking around. But yet I'm in Costa Rica, or I'm there, and I'm like, hey, here's this deal. Here's that person. Meet this person. So it doesn't matter where I am. Stuff's getting done. And so they know what I value. And what I found in my newest partnerships, and what I didn't find in my previous ones, was they wanted me to be somebody I wasn't. Like they wanted me to be the super organized guy and all this shit. And I couldn't fly the way I want to fly. So instead, my new partners have figured out a way to hack Austin, and they put systems around me for me to be the best version of myself. And when that's the case, I feel empowered to continue to be what I'm supposed to be, and kind of move forward instead of the other way around, which is exactly what you said, just trudging through the relationship instead of being uplifted.
The most important takeaway from this entire episode is it starts with self-awareness and understanding your personality, how you communicate with the world, what you're good at, what you suck at. You have to be able to look in the mirror with brutal honesty and not front, because sometimes you want to be a little bit more than you are. And that's not going to do anybody any good between you and your partner if you guys can't look at each other completely honestly, stripped down and saying like, this is who you are and this is who I am. If you can't do that, then you're not going to succeed as a partnership.
Well, yes. Because self-awareness is the ultimate weapon in business and in life. It's everything.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
I really believe, after doing enough work and getting sober and all this change, like, dude, it's a growth every day. So if it's a growth every day, say, you know what, that didn't work for me. Or you know what? Self-awareness / open communication. If those two things are happening honestly and with love, I was talking to one of my coaching clients, and I said, you not telling your staff or your business partners what you need from them, that's not love. That's you giving them a cop-out. True love is having the conversation that you don't want to have and letting it be what it'll be. That's true love.
Yeah, you got to be willing to have those really hard conversations.
And most people aren't.
Mm-hmm.
So your homework is read the book, Traction, Rocket Fuel. Describes a partnership, business, visionary, integrator. It's a great tool. I've sent it to many people. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us here at The Brain Dump. Now, before you go, it's important to solidify what you've learned here today by taking action. If all you do is listen, then you're only going to retain a small amount of the information you consumed here today. So take a quick moment to really lock in any key insights, tidbits, or pieces of wisdom that you want to carry with you into the future. You can do this by heading over to iTunes and leaving a review with your top 3 takeaways from this episode. If you've already left a review, first, thank you so much. Second, it's time to start a brain dump journal. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a slip of paper will do, where you can record a couple quick thoughts from each episode. Science shows this is one of the best ways to ensure long-term retention of new information. And finally, if you've got a brother, a sister, a coworker, or a best friend that you think would benefit from this episode, do them and us a favor and share with them this episode. Your support, as always, means the world to us.